We're now across live to SABC News Economics Editor Tshepo Mongoai, who is at the conference for an update on the latest there. Good afternoon, Tshepo. I mean, this conference is meant to bring together CEOs, business representatives and labour. What can we expect in terms of discussions?
Well, we've just had an address by the President, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, who raised a whole lot of issues and the fact that there's been a lot of developments around this employee share ownership schemes. And of course, there's also some of the best schemes that have been put together. We know that in the past, some of the schemes did not quite deliver on the promises that they've made to the workers because of the way that they've been structured, and some of the schemes have eventually went under. So just to bring you into the conversation, we are joined by Gideon Du Plessis. He's with Solidarity. It's one labour federation that has played a key role in ensuring that it's not just black participants, but everybody else actually benefit from these schemes. I remember with your Sasol case, would you say that you've actually won that fight to ensure that these employee share ownership schemes are inclusive as it should?
Yeah, indeed. You know, the irony at the time when we were at loggerheads with Sasol around Kanyisa was that at the same time we signed the Mining Charter 3 in 2018 that made provision for all qualifying employees, and the definition for qualifying employees is all employees below a specific category of employees will benefit from the employee share scheme. At the same time, Sasol excluded the white workers. So for us at the time, it was more about a matter of principle than about the money itself. So if we listen to the conversations here today, at that time, you know, Minister Mantashe was driving the process of getting all employees to benefit. So Sasol just misread the political sentiment at the time. So today we heard from the President saying that this is all driven and part of the output of the Freedom Charter. So if you subscribe to it not, the Freedom Charter, as the President indicated, you know, the wealth of the country belongs to all. So therefore, inclusivity. And then Minister Patel from the DTIC made it clear that the whole issue around worker empowerment in terms of employee share scheme should first of all be a black economic empowerment, and secondly, it should unify the workforce. So in other words, he said white employees must also benefit, so there must be an element of inclusivity. So it was such a pity that we had to go through this process with Sasol, and hopefully they've learned from it. But today it was actually, you know, confirmation that we were on the right side of the fight at the time. But our relationship has now been restored with Sasol. We're not enemies anymore. It was a pity that it has happened at the time. But now, today, we're all happy.
Well, many of these deals are actually going through a lot of transformation, and there are changes, and there's a lot of lessons from what was done in the past. Are you happy with the way these deals are structured, and would you say that in terms of the new deals, are they inclusive in bringing in white colleagues in them?
Indeed, so we're very encouraged. What happened today and what was said by Minister Patel, by the President. Two things, one about the inclusivity, so it will unify the workforce. But the second thing is, at the moment, we've got so many schemes, like the Kanyisa scheme at Sasol. It was underwater from the word go. There was no benefit even for the black employees. So today it was said that we need to structure these ESOPs differently, because otherwise it's a symbolic gesture. So a big thing is the cost. The cost gets absorbed basically by the ESOP, and the dividends gets diluted. And today it was made clear we need to look at the funding model, so that if you want to empower employees, then you need to empower them financially. That was the one good signal that came out today, that the funding model needs to change. The other thing that was emphasized today and that we feel strongly about, if you are part of an ESOP and the worker representatives sit on the board of trustees of the ESOP, they are also part of the AGM. If the company have their annual general meeting, we can vote at the AGM. We can vote against the remuneration policy. We can influence company decisions around financial rewards, and that gives us really empowers us. So the value of an ESO, as it was emphasized today, is one, financially, and secondly, participation in decision making. And the latter part is something that we need to work on a lot harder to make sure we get that value as well.
The intention of these schemes is black economic empowerment. That's why they were mooted in the first place. Do you think they are still able to achieve that objective, given the fact that now they are inclusive, they include both black and white workers?
Yeah, indeed. The big shift is at some stage, if you look at broad-based black economic empowerment, the biggest beneficiaries were black entrepreneurs. So there was a few well-connected elite that basically were the beneficiaries. Now it's really broad-based. First of all, it's going down to workers. So the second group that will benefit, the most important group, is workers. But now it's a level down. Now it's all workers at a specific level, and it's just so good. One, there's a black economic empowerment element because there's also mining communities, there's also families who will benefit from the financial rewards. But the thing is, looking at our past, now we have workers working side by side who are both shareholders, who are both equally benefit, and I think this is how we build the country. So we also appreciate the fact that there's no pushback from black workers to say, no, we need to be the only beneficiaries. Not a single trade union that we're interacting with, said, no, there needs to be a two-tier, that the black workers must get more than the white workers. So it shows the maturity, and it shows how much progress we have made to build a unified workforce, but it means also we build a unified country as well.
Thank you very much for your time there. Gideon du Plessis, he's with Solidarity, saying that, they've been a lot of progress in terms of ensuring that these deals, employee share ownership scheme, are actually inclusive. Of course, you'll always find that there are those who do not subscribe to that idea, who believe that they need to be truly broad-based black economic empowerment, but there must be black people who are participating dominantly in these particular deals. Anastasia, it's back to you from here at Sandton Convention Centre.
That is SABC News Economics Editor Tshepo Mongoai coming to us live from the Sandton Convention Centre.